What do we have here? What is the WBC up to? They pretty much up to their dirty tricks as usual. But let's turn to. Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. And I want to say shout out and welcome to the Facebookers. Do me a favor though. Go into your YouTube, click on Boxing Fans Talk TV or look us up by that name. And if you see the live icon, the live wording at the bottom in red, click on that and join the chat. The chat. I said trap. Join the chat. Anywho, so we can see you, so we can shout you out. Sometimes I'm going to look over in Facebook to see what I can see, but I can't press nothing. Otherwise, both of them will be playing at the same time. Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want no confusion. So just come on over to the YouTube channel and join in and chop it up with us. The phone lines are open, and you will see the phone lines scrolling, the number scrolling at the bottom. You also see my email. And I want to say, welcome. Demetrius Bright is in the building. What's poppin', King? He says, salute Queen T, 60 ounces of water. I didn't get to drink a lot of water today. I was a little busy today. But I drank probably, I want to say 5 bottles. But I wasn't home most of the day, so that's probably why. But also, I want to let y'all know, every day, Monday through Friday, I'm not sure if it's still making this mistake on YouTube. You know, when I create my broadcast, it's some kind of confusion as to the timing that when it's going to start. It starts every day at 7:30. I end it when, I'm done, pretty much. I don't have no set time to end, but I pretty much end when I'm done. Some days I could be an hour. Some days I could be 2 hours. Some days, it depends on what we got to cover. So just know that my show comes on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys don't have to wonder, what time will come on. And if I don't come on, I'll make a thumbnail saying no show today. And it'd be like a picture of myself. No show today. But, I'm here bright and early. It ain't early in the evening, but I like to say bright and early. So anywho, what's going on with the WBC and the president? He's interjecting himself yet again into the middle of business he really don't need to be a part of. He's just the president of a sanctioning body, the WBC. And when a fighter fights for that belt, he has his charge that, these fighters has to pay. The promoters have to pay. I did a show on that a while back. But, what do you got to do with who fight who, or should a fight take place? It's like it's too much overlap in his business. People need, I guess, in boxing going forward, I'm starting to feel like some of these people and their titles, like if you're a promoter, stay in your promoter lane. If you're a sanctioning body president, stay in your sanctioning body name. Yeah, but let me see. Hold on. This is water check, so y'all can chime in as to how much water that y'all drink. Digging those braids, Queen T. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I decided to change it up a little bit. Going back to my old ways. Going back to my old ways. I'm just joking. Now, when I was younger, I always wore braids. I haven't worn braids in I don't even want to count the years. But yeah, I just trying something new. But yeah, Demetrius, the WBC is up to their old tricks, and I'm like, what again? Calling Camboso undisputed. I was like, does that sound familiar? Do anybody think that sounds familiar? The WBC is now calling Camboso. I'll be messing his name up. It's either Cambosus, I don't know what it is. Camboda. The WBC is calling George Camboda undisputed. Where have we heard that before? PGH Big Dog in the building was popping king. Salute, Queen T. Salute to you. Macadocious Mac of the South said, salute the lovely and beautiful Madam Queen Miss T. Thank you so much, sir. Salute to you. PGA said, when is Dev and Bill Goons called this BS out? They trying to tread lightly. That's what I think, PGH. They trying to tread lightly because I noticed as soon as they start, they want to say probably more, but they're, you can't scare the opponents off. Dev, I think maybe Dev, he did himself a good thing by going around the country sparring people. But then again, in looking back in hindsight, you could probably say he did himself a disservice sparring people because don't nobody want to fight him. And as y'all saw yesterday, I got a little emotional because sometimes boxing be so in me. I'm thinking I'm right there with them. I'm taking the risk with them. I'm doing this stuff with them. And I know how Dev feel. This dude is getting avoided. People ducking him. And at this point, it's not even just the fighters. People like WBC is in on the fix. That's how I'm looking at it. So I'm breaking this down like how I see it right now. The WBC is trying to weigh in and put their 2 cents in it. PGH, Big Dog said they just keep devaluing Dev's belt and career. Demetrius Bright said total disrespect for Devin. Eddie Hearn name calling Lou DiBella about to mess up the fight. He is. We gonna blame it on Al Heyman though. I'm just joking. I'm pushing the hashtag WBC is anti-black. Remember when I was telling y'all to call y'all congressmen? There's things they doing that's so wrong, but I'm probably the only one that was calling the congressman for a couple of weeks, pointing it out. It can't be just one person. If enough of y'all call and say something like, yo, dude is not following the proper order of things when it comes to a nonprofit. You think they wouldn't jump on his ass? They rather talk about that shit than something else. You know what I'm saying? So basically, let me get back to what Mauricio is trying to do. So that Demetri said, salute PGH, and Ricky Williams is in the building. What's poppin', King? F all that. At Miss T, you looking stunning tonight. Thank you, dear sir. I try. Macadocious Mac of the South. At Demetrius Bright. PGH. Salute my brothers and King. And all of y'all saluting each other. Salute to the realist at Ricky Williams. So the WBC is calling Cambosos a damn undisputed champion. Then we just go through all this rigmarole with Teofimo. Isn't this why a lot of people are excited that he lost? because of the way he was carrying things. Yeah, you the goods, T.O., but then it's like you took it too far, and some of the fans didn't appreciate it. It didn't bother me. I always said, and y'all can go back and look at some of my videos. I don't know where, but I always have said that T.O. is going by what they tell him. He running with it. He should have the fortitude and the sense of mind not to do that. Like if it was me and you could toot my horn all fucking day, but I know when I earn some shit and I know when I achieve some shit, and I don't care who it is, I ain't gonna let you tell me that. Like I'm not gonna let you put me on this pedestal when I don't belong there. But if you put me up there, I ain't gonna take myself off neither. I'm gonna ride the wave and take all the perks that come with it. However, if I'm sitting there talking to somebody and they will say something like, "Oh, Miss T, you're the undisputed," I'll be like, "Oh, wait a minute. There is one more belt out there. We can't overlook Mr. Devin Haney." I'm gonna put some spec on it. You know what I'm saying? That's not hard to do. And then everybody would be like, "Oh, okay." They would still be fans and like T.O. But because he didn't put the spec on it, people kind of fell off to the wayside. You did a good thing when you fought Lomachenko. You beat his ass, straight up. Beat his ass. And as I said this past Saturday night, I do not think Kambosos took it from the champ. And I've gone back and watched that fight, and either it's a draw or a T.O. edge, and just as my opinion. You know why he edged? He was the aggressor. He did hit him hard. T.O. wasn't completely T.O. Kambosos boxed a little. And everybody know he lightened the ass. If that wasn't true, why everybody in the 135 division won't in? Why do all of them want in? They have not been this vocal and talking like this. I'm talking about the whole top tier or the notable fighters in 135, like in unison, about trying to get at them belts since T.O. dropped them. Only since T.O. dropped them. When T.O. had them, you ain't hear shit from Ryan. You ain't hear a lot of people like Tank ain't even talk like he wanted it with fucking T.O. I'm not saying Tank was avoiding him. I think that Tank has been on a campaign or journey that's kind of different than what necessarily going after undisputed. You just didn't know or have a warm and fuzzy feeling. Do Tank want to be undisputed? Of course he want to be a champion. Of course he not scared of no goddamn T.O. But the way they was moving him, it just always seemed like a money grab. This is what everyone is complaining about Tank now, about the fact that he's fighting fights strategically, but it don't seem like he's trying to achieve no hardware or nothing big. He's skipping past or looking over the big fights, but we all know Tank ain't scared of none of them. We know that. So it's kind of confusing. Like, why is Mayweather Promotions moving him that way? You know what I'm saying? But, and this is, I don't call people ducks that liberally. That's not me. Shout outs to anybody who do. That's just not me. That don't make them right. That don't make me wrong. That don't make me right. That don't make them wrong. I just don't do it. Because it's not always about ducking. The business of boxing get in the way. That can happen. And sometimes you got to be realistic about your goals and what you want when you in that game. So, somebody like who's at the tail end of their career, kind of like what Mikey Garcia was doing, or Whitey Garcia, he's doing the campaign for money. But I don't feel like I need to support him. I said it too previously. I said I wasn't mad at Mikey for doing that. Shit, who wouldn't? Somebody gonna pay you $7 million to fight somebody we ain't never heard of. Who wouldn't do it? Especially if you thought you was gonna win. Shit backfired on Whitey Garcia. But hey, it is what it is. Desiree is in the building. What's popping, Queen? She said, hey. But that shit backfired on him. But when I know that he's not trying to be a champion per se, he would take it, of course. But he wasn't that wasn't the goal. I'm gonna be a champion. I'm gonna be unified. I'm gonna be undisputed. That was not Whitey Garcia's goal. So therefore, he not going for that. I'm not interested in him as a fighter. If he come on TV and it's right there, so be it. I'm watching it. I watch boxing. I watch no name boxers damn near all week, all the time. They be forgettable sometimes. Sometimes I be like, damn, that was a good scrap. But I don't know their name, and their name didn't stick with me, so I keep it pushing. But Whitey Garcia, I mean, I don't feel the need that I need to follow his career and endorse him and patronize him at his events. For what? To help him get rich? Why would I do that? I'd rather y'all do that for me. Shit, I'm just being honest. When y'all come in the building, smash the like button. I mean, if we gonna do it, wouldn't we be self-serving in that respect? If I'm gonna involve myself in something like that, but he does it. I wasn't mad, and that's the danger of what I was seeing going on with Tank Davis. I felt like the way they was moving him, it was a more of a campaign for money than it was to be great, to leave a mark, to have a legacy. And I just thought he was too young to waste his youth doing that. That's something you do on the tail end of your career. DJ is in the building. What's popping, King? Salute, Miss T. Salute to you, Big Daddy. So I just was like, I never really heard Tank trying to go after T.O. And T.O. had all the belts, right? So-called all the belts. But soon as T.O. lose the belt, Tank and them, they're interested in Tank fighting Kambosos. What's the difference? The belts are still the belts. What's the difference? The difference is the person who holds them now. You got Ryan punk ass coming out the woodwork. The YouTube star. Ryan Garcia, fake Garcia, Fugazi ass. Ryan. As y'all call him, Lion Ryan. He wants in. He talking about, I want Kambosa. You want to skip past everything and everybody. You don't even want to earn it the old-fashioned way. Ryan is what I would call a local celebrity. When you're young, I can only imagine little girls and little boys as teenagers, they have pressure on them. And it can lead to insecurities on both sides. But I guess for a little boy, you want to be a tough man. You want to be able to stand amongst your peers and seem like you're a manly man. So Ryan picked boxing just for that. I believe that's what he picked it for, because he surely don't seem like he got heart, or his heart is in it. I ain't the only one that saw that. Canelo saw that. Remember, Canelo tried to call him out, because one thing about Canelo, he know you can't play boxing. You either boxing or you not. This ain't the sport to dabble in. Well, I'll do this for a couple of years and then such. No, you either doing this shit or you not. DJ said Floyd doesn't want to do business with Bob Arum, Miss T. That's clear to me. That's true. But do Bob own Kambosos? I didn't think he did. I'm not sure. I don't know who owned what. I hate to, let me retract that, because it's 2021. Nobody should be owning no humans. But you know what I mean? Like, do Kambosos, is he under contract with Bob or somebody else? That I don't know. Ricky Williams said, it's like I said, Tank moving just like Canelo, but I'm not going to put his feet to the fire while they giving Canelo pound for pound status for doing the same thing. Indeed. Demetri said, those fighters think Kamboso is free government cheese. Everyone wants to slice. They think he light in the ass and they can't believe he won. I'm going to tell you, when you go look at the fight again, I said this in the first round, but I do think, I'm not mad at the decision. I said that too. But when they started fighting, it seemed like the commentators were capping for Kambosos. And I didn't think, never did I thought he was aggressive. Now he got a lucky shot off and T.O. dumbass fell, which I wish he didn't. But if he didn't fall, that would have been a big ass round for T.O. We could tell who was the dominant mano a mano in that ring that night. I do not think that Kambosos took the fight from the champion. I even said that about Charlo and what's that dude? Tony Harris. And y'all know how I feel about the Charlos. But I ain't gonna cap and lie. Just cause I don't, I don't like them. I'm not gonna be like dang the goods when they are. But I felt like Tony in that first fight did not take it from Charlo. Did he outbox him? Was he a more clever boxer? Yeah. But he didn't take nothing from the champ. And I thought, and it don't have to be a rule, but it probably was like an unwritten rule. It was something that a lot of people adhere to, that if you're going to fight the champions, there's a difference between champions and contenders and novice, or, there's levels to that shit. If you're going to fight the champion, don't you supposed to take it? Like clearly take it? And I didn't see that in the T.O. and Kambosos fight. I saw a man that got lucky, kept moving around. He didn't want to stay there, and he don't have to. He kept moving around, and notice how I say he didn't run. He was moving around because you're allowed to do that. And I think it was T.O.'s to lose, which he did, because he didn't throw enough. T.O. stopped being T.O. He got emotional, and he let his emotions get the best of him. Demetrius said those fighters think him. Oh yeah, I said that. DJ said we're not going to make these other promoters rich. I feel like that was directed towards Top Rank and Bob Arum. Probably was, sir. I believe the two front runners for the fight are Shakur and Lomachenko. Lomachenko, my ass. I can't agree with that one. Isn't this the first fight back for Lomachenko? I can't put him on the pedestal no more. He never should have been on the pedestal from the jump. And that's the beautiful thing about what T.O. did to him. DJ, that's why there's interest in fighting Kambosos now from TMT, because he's not with Bob. Also, because, and I'm speculating here, y'all. It's just my opinion. Also, because they can look at Kambosos and tell he like the ass. Half of them top tier 135 fighters can beat his ass. I see it. I believe Tank can whip his ass. I believe definitely Devin can beat his ass. I believe if T.O. was on his square, he would beat his ass. I believe Lomachenko could beat his ass. And low key, if Ryan caught his ass, I believe he could beat his ass. I don't see nothing that spectacular about George Kambosos. He dug deep. He got a heart. He's definitely a grown man. And so outside of that, I don't see nothing that spectacular. As Floyd would say, no special effects. PGH Big Dog said, no, Lady T. Kambosos dominated T.O. That overhand right was destroying T.O. all night. Face showed the damage that Kambosos did. Yeah, he got hurt in the end. I still don't think that he took it from the champ. I don't see it. And I do know that once I heard the first round, if you listen to the commentators, I was like, T.O., I said it right there in the first round. I was in here by myself though. I said, T.O. gotta do something drastic, because it looked like they gonna give Kambosos, because they didn't think Kambosos would be able to hang, period. And since he kept hanging and scoring on his ass and popping off on his ass, they was giving him way more credit than probably he deserved. But it was T.O.'s to lose. I agree, PGH. T.O. did lose it, and if he lost it, it's because he didn't throw his hands enough. He fought emotional. But who was the aggressive? T.O. Was it all the way effective? A little bit. It wasn't like he wasted a lot of punches, but he was missing more than he normally do. He wasn't the same fighter. I'm not saying any of this to make excuses. That's just how I saw the fight. Demetrius, after December 5th, Tank better focus on those legal issues. Eddie Hearn is doing his best to block the Devin fight. Yeah, like block the Devin fight with Cambosos. Ricky Williams said he may didn't take it, but T.O. gave it up. Yeah, that's why I said it was T.O.'s to lose. You don't really have to take the belt from the champion anymore. You just have to outwork them in most cases. That might be the case. I'm just still stuck on how I thought boxing was supposed to be. Boxing may have evolved and left me behind. That's possible too. PGA said T.O. had no game plan and just looked for the one punch KO. He was emotional, yeah, and he wasn't fighting like himself. And it don't do him no good to do that. Stephen Houston in the building, he said facts. He said he's food. That's why they want him. He's definitely food. Feed me, Seymour, feed me. That's what's going on right now. Stephen Houston said, Miss T, what rounds did you give T.O.? Once I saw T.O. really not fighting right, I really won't count no rounds. The whole time I'm like, you gotta knock him out. Because I'm listening to the commentators and they ooh and on and you don't say everything Cambosos does. I was like, you gotta knock him out, dog. And then when he knocked him down, I said, now you cooking with grease. And I thought that was a more devastating knockdown. It was just a knockdown than the one that Camboso gave. But you always that what happened exemplifies why you should be humble and don't take nothing for granted. And that's T.O.'s fault. Everything is T.O.'s fault. Make no mistakes, y'all. I ain't capping for T.O. I ain't making no excuses. It's all T.O.'s fault. He handled it the wrong way. Had he stuck to what he normally does, I think we would have saw a different fight. But I can only speculate that. I can't say for sure that that's what would have happened. That's me speculating based on how he was in his past. Demetri said, people say Cambosos can't punch, but looking at T.O.'s face, I think he can punch a tad. I think all the fighters have some kind of respectable punching power where, they feel it. But again, it's almost, this going to sound crazy. I don't know if T.O. easily bruised. He is getting old. I don't know. He's been soft around the edges. I don't think he's been practicing. I don't know, but whatever it was with T.O., whether he was preoccupied, scared, nervous, didn't train right, it don't matter. T.O. did that to himself. So that was a fair and square, Cambosos got it type shit, in the end of the day. I wouldn't have been mad if they had called it a draw. In fact, I lean more to a draw. I wouldn't have been mad if they edged T.O. just a little because I felt like T.O. was hurting them more. But I'm not mad either at the decision that Camboso is the winner. That's what it's. I'm not mad at that either. So that fight could have went either way, win, lose, or draw for either side. And I wasn't going to be mad at it. But it was T.O.'s to lose, and he dropped the ball. In so many ways, he dropped the ball. Stephen Houston said, I thought they tried to give it to T.O. I gave T.O. 3 rounds. Like I said, it was fucking ridiculous how he was acting. There go my dog. Hold on, y'all. Got him. That girl was stressed the hell out of me. Y'all can't see her. I don't know why she always do this. Right when I come on. When I'm not, she don't even bother me. So, the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, aka Mr. Cantone, has injected himself in the middle of fighters yet again. Just to call Cambosos undisputed is a slap in the face to Devin Haney yet again. Do we have to rethink why T.O. was walking around calling himself undisputed? Do we give him a pass? These are questions I'm asking y'all. They could be rhetorical, or you guys could call in and answer. Matter of fact, my bad. Let me put the link in. But just for y'all to answer the question, I got some more stuff to get put out. But Do y'all think that he they're messing things up, that they're trying to be throw like monkey wrenches in there? Because just by saying that, what it implies is, if George Kambosos is undisputed, then why do he need Teofimo? Why do he even need to fight Teofimo for undisputed? That fight never need to happen. And if I don't know if he got the franchise belt, but if he did get that on the win this past Saturday, I thought you had a petition to ask for it. So I don't know if T.O. lost that belt. But if he did, George don't have to fight nobody he don't want to. So and they putting it out there like they dropping nuggets. As that one movie, I think it was Red October, they was like, he's dropping enough sonar buoys where you can walk from this point to that point, cross water. They dropping nuggets. They dropping breadcrumbs. Hey, George, he don't have to fight Haney. He's undisputed. He can fight for whoever he wants. It could be just a money grab thing for him. He got all the belts. He's undisputed. It's a lot of tomato cans beyond the top tier fighters in the 135 division that George can fight and probably win. And he can do that all day long. And he don't give a damn what y'all think or what America say. He's not even from here. I'm sure he cared to a certain extent, but he don't care. Now, George put his foot in his mouth because usually the first response is the most honest answer. So I'm giving George a little props by him even saying, hey, I'm on Devin Haney. I'm going to that fight. Y'all smash the like button while y'all in here. Give me that Christmas present. All I want for Christmas is for y'all to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. But George can go right back to Australia and fight people down there that we never heard of, and wouldn't be a damn thing any of us could do about it. That is the rub when it comes to American fighters losing the belts, especially when they have an opportunity to gain them. Because these people from other countries, they will take it to that. I'm not saying that they can't, but the way they be going about it and be holding that bitch hostage, that shit I don't like. Because I don't think American fighters per se hold shit hostage. I think, can American fighters duck or, be avoiding people? Sure. We got some of those. We got some chaducks out there. Remember, that's a chicken and a duck. Chaducks. We got some chaducks out there. But, eventually they got to get in the ring. Or eventually, the fuck get put to them. So then they'll be like, we got to drop this belt. But when you get fighters from like, there's not many Australian fighters that's came over here of note where we can really put this jacket on them. But they could do it. We don't put it past them. But definitely for a while there, it was Canada. You had people like Adonis Stevenson. That was I mean, I know people probably liked him. I really didn't like him. I hope he recovered well from that last fight that I seen him in, where he got seriously hurt. I don't know if he's even back. I didn't hate him, but what I didn't like about him, he would never leave Canada. And the motherfuckers tell everybody else business, tell everything else. They will never say why this dude never left Canada. I couldn't stand that shit. I'm like, nigga, can you come down south and chop it up a couple of times? But no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. And I was like, man, I don't even like him. I don't care. That's why when Andre and him didn't fight, I didn't even give a care. Then we know how the British fighters are. And you know how them Ukraine fighters can be. Once they get the belt, they go play hide the sausage. They go in hibernation. And if you come down there to their territory, you run the risk of getting some unfavorable results. It might not be no fairness down there. You can't Like when we talking about George Kambosos, if Devin Haney got that fight and had to go down to Kambosos' home, Australia, nothing wrong at that point. But what Devin would have to know going down there, you got to beat the dog shit out of him. You got to walk his ass thoroughly. Drag his ass. You gotta have power punches that day. Because if you just outbox and he hanging in there with you, you lost. That can happen. So that's why we prefer the fights to be up here. As y'all saw, Kambosos won up here in America. I don't put that jacket on America. I ain't saying it never happens. But I really don't put that type of jacket on America. Like, you come to America and you do your best and we're gonna rob you or whatever. I really don't see that enough to put the jacket on America like that. But some of these other countries, hell yeah. They the president, the CEO of that league. You know what I'm saying? But why you think, again, I asked the question, why do you think that they all won't in? They was not acting like this when T.O. had it. I'm not bigging up T.O. by even saying this. It's not like I've never said none of them are scared of T.O. I'm just saying none of them wasn't like chopping at the bits to try to get at them belts. Now George has them. They want to get at him. They can't wait to get at him. And here come Mr. Cantone ass, like clockwork, motherfucker jumping in the Kool-Aid and talking about Kambosos is undisputed. That's so disrespectful to Devin. Number one. Number two, shut what they call the hell up, Mr. Cantone. How the fuck you gonna say that? The man that got your belt is named Devin Haney. How in the hell do you say that? But we know this dude favors Mexicans, so we should not be surprised going forward, and even at present day now. He's trying to throw a monkey wrench in the Haney versus Kambosos. If y'all notice, Haney has come out and said something since that fight. But he's very kind. He said, we in talks, very respectful. Because Haney know the slightest word will have motherfuckers running for the hills. That's why I say, looking back, it probably did him no good to go around the country and spar people all over the country, even though it did do good because at the time, they was just practicing their craft. Seeing it, I guess that was Bill's way to see if Devin really do want to be a boxer. Do he got the goods, taking him around. But the word got out, Devin. The word got out. It's like maybe a strategy going forward is, if you live in a small town or whatever, go to about maybe 3 cities tops. Pick 3, nice size cities and then just fight in there, because even though a lot of people you will probably meet and run through there, it might not be everybody, but it's like the word is out on Devin, and how these fighters block him at every cost, avoid him, and it seemed like each one, even if Ryan and Rolly don't like each other, they can be in unison with blocking Devin. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how this shit is. And yesterday I got a little emotional because I was saying Terrence fight, I was emotional. Definitely when Deontay, the king, this is Deontay country over here. Definitely when he fought, I was emotional. And I got kind of a little emotional with Devin because I can empathize and relate to the shit that this boy got to go, man got to go through. The crap that this man got to go through just to get a person in the ring is fucking ridiculous. And he's at the precipice, I said that yesterday, at finally realizing his dream. The stars lined up and this, that, and other. And here come WBC dropping these little nuggets, putting a little birdie in George here. We just have to see what George going to do going forward. And I swear to God, if George back off from what he said, I don't give a fuck about George no more. Don't care about him. Will roast him every chance I get. Now I asked the question, why? Why are they doing that? And I say you have to ask who they prefer to have the belts. Who in the 135 division do they prefer? Mauricio has a good working relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. In fact, remember they cut a deal. I said this in a previous video. They kind of cut a deal where they was trying to wait. There was two names that Oscar said he want to move out of 135 division before he let his fighters, i.e. Ryan Garcia or Jojo Diaz, before he let them two go for the championship belts. And that was Devin Haney and Tank Davis. That's what Oscar told Mauricio this year, months ago. And Mauricio said, because Oscar is a Mexican descent, because Oscar is an American, but that's good enough, close enough. And Mauricio said, whatever you like. Now, I told y'all yesterday too, who Canelo been propping up. Whoever Canelo like and props up. Now the motherfucker is true to his heritage. Can't get mad at that. He love being a Mexican. He might look white, but Whitey Garcia, you need, in as far as heritage and pride, you might want to take a page out of his book. That dude is proud Mexican all day. Can't be mad at him for that. Don't have no beef with him on that note. But whoever Canelo seems to like, here come Mr. Cantone. Who was Canelo bigging up recently? Getting in touch with recently? Wishing him luck? Probably more than luck. On the phone with probably. Telling him to come down to Eddie Renusso's gym. Who is that? Canelo. Talking to Pitbull Isaac Cruz. Who is Isaac Cruz about to face? Tank. If Isaac beat him, don't he take Tank's place? Right now, Tank is a mandatory for George Kambosos. But Devin can trump that because both of them have the opportunity to be undisputed, and undisputed trumps mandatories. But if Isaac Cruz beats Tank, then he takes Tank place. And boom, we got a real live Mexican in there in the mix to go for George Kambosos belts, and he'll win. He will win. Because George, to me, is beatable by all the top tier 135 pounders. Now, that's nothing to slight George or, say nothing bad about him. I just think he's beatable. Now, if he's not, I got to see more of him. If he gets in there and mix it up with everybody, then I could change my mind. But right now, he looks beatable. And I can't, and people probably saying, those fighters probably saying to themselves, I can't believe Teofimo, bitch ass, dropped the ball like that. What a gift. I wouldn't have did no shit like that. You got Rolly trying to holler at George. Now, George is a better boxer than Rolly. But between Teo and Rolly, I think Rolly probably hit harder. George could barely contend with Teo's hard hits. He was determined to be the better man that night. He might not have that kind of fortitude when fighting somebody like a Tank, which I ain't say might not. He won't. And if he won't have that kind of fortitude with Tank, he ain't gonna have that with Rolly. Because the round's gonna be 12, and all they gotta do is catch him a couple of times, and they will. He's not that great of a boxer. Nothing against him. He knows fundamentals. He knows how to box. That's it. He don't look powerful. And somebody like the pressure that Pitbull will put on him, Pitbull will win easily in my book. Tank the same way. Tank will strategize and hit that motherfucker. He might not wake up till next week. But Tank can be like, hey, activate my mandatory. The only way that George can get out that is to say, hey, I want to fight for undisputed. George was talking a good game. Hey, I want undisputed. Yo, run me Devin Haney. Run me that. Devin and them is like, I'm like over here like, finally. You know, a real man who's not with the BS is ready to mix it up. And then the powers that be had to jump in and throw salt in the wound and throw the monkey wrenches in there. And that's what we had today. They letting them know, like, player, you ain't even got to fight Devin Haney. You ain't going to win that one, shawty. You ain't even got to fight him. We going to give you this franchise belt. That way you can pick anybody you want to fight. You can fight tomato cans. And guess what? You got the complexion for the protection. We going to pay you $2 and $3 million. We ain't go. You will never make less than what you made for this fight. At a minimum, you gonna get paid $2 million. Why don't you run the gambit and fight some tomato can people they ain't never heard? Go back to Australia, fight people down there, you know, that none of us ever heard. Do like 4 fights. Make $2 and $3 million off of each one of those. You're an overnight millionaire. And then go ahead, and by then you probably want to drop the belts and retire, right? Or maybe you want to go further, because if you lighten the ass at 135, ain't no sense in you going up to 140. So then you drop the belts. You go down in the Hall of Fame. You're a legacy. You're undisputed. That's why I could not be mad at TL, y'all. That's why I couldn't be mad at him. It ain't him that was putting that garbage out all the time. This is what they feeding in his ear. And if fucking Mauricio Suleiman and the other powers that be say this, what is TL supposed to think? TL should have known better. I don't excuse him from that. But can y'all see where that's a slippery slope? If George Kambosos start acting like that and start believing the hype that he is undisputed, it can happen to anybody. I think that the powers that be wants that undisputed to go to some Mexican. Could be JoJo. I think JoJo on his good day might give Kambosos trouble. I believe that. We will never see it because Devin gonna go through JoJo. But what if? Just what if? That's the motivating factor on the table. If you can get past Devin, we gonna guarantee you a fight with Kambosos, and you will win. And then we'll have another Mexican undisputed. And guess what? Mexicans run boxing. Mexicans are the face of boxing. Mexicans are the best at boxing. It's not the individual that are the best at boxing or their particular skills. It's Mexicans first, and then are the greatest of boxing or the best at boxing. That's the narrative that they want to push out. That's why they talk about Virgil Ortiz. But if he was to face Spence, I hope Spence will wax his ass. Don't dislike Virgil, but we gonna end this shit somewhere. We gonna end this shit. But damn near Crawford, Spence, and Boots would end Virgil. They don't have a leg to stand on, but they gonna take it how they can get it. They'll take it how they can get it, where they can get it. And that's what I see playing out. It may come to fruition. It may work itself out and become that, but it may not. But at least they trying. That's what I see. They're trying. And that's what we got to be careful. We have to like damn near watch George Kambosos with a third eye. Got to watch him in these boxing streets. Because we don't know that the nuggets they dropping in his head, what it means to him, how he going to take it and run with it. We don't know. It remains to be seen. He got a reprieve because he said he going to the Devin Haney and JoJo Diaz fight this weekend. He can still do that and save face, you know. But now, at the end of that fight, going forward, I say watch him with your third eye and keep watching him to see how he moves in these boxing streets. That'll tell you everything. If he ever get the notion that he is undisputed, you already know they got to him. If they waving 5 minutes, because this is the thing. You can have a black, and this is just what I believe, and you can have a black fighter with Camboso's record and just how he get down in these boxing streets. Andrew Charles is in the building. What's poppin' King? He said, salute, Miss T. Salute to you too, sir. And you'll be like, I'm gonna pay this fighter, even when they like, no matter what they do, they can get all belts, they can unify. But you'll be like, your last payday was $2 million. We're gonna pay you 2 or 3, kind of like what Bob was doing to Terrence. But George, he not gonna get that treatment, y'all. George got the complexion for the protection. George's stock just went up. George gonna get paid. You hear me? Because he got the complexion for the protection. It's the way the world is. I'm not saying we need to go on strike. I mean, it's the way it is. That's why you got to bet on yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be strategize. If they giving you low payments, then every time you have a chance to knock a motherfucker out, you got to destroy them. Get 5 or 6 fights in. If they want to pay you $200,000 every time you fight, with 5 or 6 fights will kind of take you close to being a millionaire, if not over. Okay, right? D-Ray said, Miss T, salute. What's up, King? What's popping, King? Yeah, so, I mean, that's how you beat it. You want to make them. I think that's how Pretty Boy did it. Yeah, you can lowball me on the pay, but guess what? Running back. Let me fight next month. Let me fight every month. Let me fight a couple of times in the month. When you look at the end of the year, this nigga done made over $1 million. But if he just stretched the shit out and fought one fight here and one fight there, the time to do that type of shit, fellas, you know, and ladies, if y'all into boxing, is when you young. The younger you are, that's the time to do that type of shit. But if you a young person and you getting moved, like how we see Tank is getting moved, we like, what you gonna do when you get older? Whatever you doing now is gonna tremendously slow down than when you get older. If you already moving slow, then, you know, why should we follow you? Why should we buy your stuff? Why should we be into you? Tank is a superstar. Love Tank. Love how he fight. Better. I always like bet. When I say bet, like I'm with him. As far as picking him to win a fight or whatever, I do. I roll with Tank. But what people are seeing is what they seeing. You want them to see something differently, you have to do something differently. I didn't see no interest in these belts from Tank until now George got it. Is it Tank interested or is it Mayweather Promotion interested in it? Either way, neither one of them was interested when T.O. had it. Either way, whatever that means, I'm not putting no extra on it. I'm not putting 20 on 10 or 10 on 20, whatever way that goes. Demetrius Bryce said, what's good at D-Ray? But we never heard that. I have never, all year, I'm trying to think, when Mayweather was ever interested in the T.O. female. Never. Never did I hear that. But now they are. Maybe Tank is always interested in all these guys, but he's being moved. He even told y'all out his mouth, I don't have no power, y'all. They move me how they want. Paraphrasing. But when I asked the question, why is Mauricio Suleiman doing this? And I said, well, who do he prefer to have the belts? Because certainly he ain't bit more caring about a George Camboso. He not even from his country. He not even Mexican. He ain't tripping on George. But who do he like? He like Ryan. Ain't that Canelo boy? Ain't Canelo the big brother? He like Ryan. If Canelo likes you, so do Mauricio Suleiman likes you. You know? In the Fleece Johnson voice. I likes you. Ryan is Canelo's little baby brother, right? Figuratively. Isaac is from Mexico and deserve a come up. Matter of fact, this fight, shit, I don't know how much Isaac getting paid, but he might could go home and buy a nicer house for his family. Not knocking him. Honest work is honest work, but I could see that I know that our dollar moves bigger and weighs heavier in other countries than here. Like, you go to Mexico, $10 is you can get so much more with $10 there than you can get here. So if he gets a nice chunk of change because it's pay-per-view, you're fighting Tank, the superstar. Tank gonna get paid. You got to get paid. It's probably gonna be one of your biggest paydays you ever got when he gets out of that fight. Guess what? Win, lose, or draw, he gets to go home and buy a decent home for his wife and his son. If he wins, then what y'all think that means? I told y'all his record. He is knocked out or beaten, and that's to say, I think he went one fight where he went 12 rounds. His last 11 opponents, this is Isaac Cruz, 11 of them motherfuckers straight, no break in between. Dude is relentless, and in my opinion, it'll be a good fight. I know a lot of people don't want to buy the fight because they feel like Mayweather is just serving Tank to tomato cans and making him rich off of that. So what you think is going to be when he do fight somebody big? Going to be an even bigger payday, which we don't, at what point we stop caring about as fans, the payday, because we ain't getting the cut, but I can understand that Tank care about that, but Tank also has shown lately that he cares about what y'all think about him. He don't want to look like he cherry picking and this, that, and the other, but it looks like what it looks like. You're moving for just the money. How do we know that? This is part of the evidence that I will offer up. When you act like you want to go to different weight classes, but you only want to fight a certain person. Now, if you're going to land in the 147 pound, I expect you to stand toe-to-toe with Terrence, Spence, Boots, Virgil, Thurman, all the top tier. I don't expect you to just pick one of them and be like, that's my stint at 147. Now I'm back down to my regular weight. Same thing with 140. I'm going to pick Barrios. I need you to stand in front of Josh Taylor, Regis, all of them. And I'm not saying Tank is scared to do that with any of those divisions I just mentioned, but that's not how they present that. There's nothing in us as fans that think that that's what's going to happen. We think he there for a reason in the season, for one moment in time. That's what we think. And then he's going to go back down to his regular weight class. He has not shown an interest to get an actual championship belt, unify, or become undisputed. He let T.O. walk around, which I don't think he's scared of T.O. I think T.O. gonna have his hands full. I will edge Tank on that fight between the two. But T.O.'s a good fighter. I don't take that away from him. But he let T.O. walk around acting like he, whatever he was, he ain't give a care. Nothing coming out of the Tank camp that was telling us or alluding to us that there's a possible Teofimo fight on the horizon. Nothing. And as soon as T.O. loses his belts, you're hearing rumblings. Not necessarily from Tank. I haven't heard nothing out of Tank's mouth. But with his team, Mayweather Promotion, they're interested in the Kambosos fight. You didn't want to fight Devin first? You ain't want to fight Lomachenko first. You ain't want to fight Tio first. You just want to get straight at it. That's what they all sound like nowadays. Now, George has opened a can of worms. And let's say he is the goods and he can run through all of them. He got a full plate then. He could be like, line them motherfuckers up. I'm gonna knock them down one by one. George sitting pretty. But Mauricio Suleiman could be wanting to savor those belts for his precious Ryan Garcia or Pitbull Isaac Cruz. Two Mexicans on that you can throw in the mix. I personally don't throw Ryan in the mix, but they always wanted the fact that his name is even mentioned shows you the fucking favoritism when it comes to certain Mexicans. You know, it's just ridiculous. He should be like ranked number 15 or nowhere. Nowhere. He hasn't done anything to be at the top. I'm not even talking about his past opponents, but he hasn't done anything for him to be of note. He's a handsome guy, yes. He's famous on YouTube, yes. But in boxing, what the fuck he do? And if he gets an opportunity to fight, like coming off his injury and go straight to Camboso, oh no. Oh Lord. We probably out here in these YouTube streets flip the proverbial table over or desk over in protest of that bullshit decision. And you can feel it coming. You can feel it coming. When he said, Phil Collins said, I can feel it in the air. D-Ray, tank tomato cans, get it. So at this point, it's starting to look like a conspiracy with the WBC. I've been felt like that. It's starting to look like that. It is what it looked like. Why do the WBC lead or speak for other sanctioning bodies? That's a question I had too. That's a relevant question. Why would he say he's undisputed? Motherfucker, you work for the WBC. You don't work for WBO, IBF, and the WBA. And in order for you to be undisputed, you need all four. So how the fuck is you talking about something when you only work for the WBC? You don't hear nobody from the IBF, the president coming out saying nothing, or motherfucking the president for the WBA coming out and saying it, or the WBO. You only hear Mauricio throwing a monkey wrench as usual. You want that glory so bad, you know, that you got to lie cheek still to get it. He's the undisputed. The hell? And there's a fighter who have your belt and has done well to represent your belt in the ring and out the ring, and you slapping him in the face every time you open your mouth. That's crazy. Y'all need to be calling y'all congressman about this man. Spill the tea. He running a profit non-profit. If it's non-profit, it cannot be for profit. He is running a profit organization. Call your local congressman. Not local to your state, but like the federal level. And put some eyes on that. Y'all can do it. It's an easy number. Just look up your congressman. Call it. You are not going to talk to him. Probably you're going to talk to somebody else. Leave a message. Talk about him. Eventually, they're going to get to him. Because they rather talk about something and see like they doing something about something other than the shit they got on their fingers right now. And the controversy, that's easy. Hey, look what I'm doing. Shiny thing on the side. I shut corruption down. I protected the civil liberties and the pursuit of happiness of our American fighters. We can't let this come into our country. You don't think that that's good press for them? A lot of people would be happy. They do it all the time. If they're going to take a president's foundation and nonprofits and stuff and take that shit from him, even while he's a president, come on, what you think they'll do to Mauricio, Mr. Suleiman, a.k.a. Mr. Cantone? What you think they'll do to him? Y'all better get with it. That shit works sometimes. D-Ray said Haney only got injured. We'll fight. When he had that problem. But The point is, Haney is the legitimate WBC champion, and they keep acting like he's not. It wasn't just in T.O.'s head. Y'all see what they starting to do with Cambosos. If we laughed at T.O. when he got up there with Canelo, and Canelo didn't even validate him that he was an undisputed. But where this shit coming from? Where does this come from? If Mauricio says it is, and other people are saying it is, then why wouldn't that fighter believe them over how we feel and what we see? Who they gonna believe? Their lying mouth or our lying eyes and ears? You know, that's what it comes down to. But we gonna see what George Camboso is really about. And like I said, we need to watch him with the third eye on his movements from now forward, especially after the Devin Haney fight. When it's over, keen in on Cambosos. But the consensus now is that he don't need to fight Haney. This is what they putting out. This is the narrative that they pushing because he is undisputed. So he don't need Devin Haney. And if he don't need Devin Haney, why take the risk? That's what they're trying to make him see and feel. So not only do the fighter work hard to avoid or stall Devin out, you got sanctioning bodies joining the campaign to stall him out too. And that was my conclusion of hearing what Mr. Cantone had to say about George Kambosos being undisputed, and just how they and the other people chiming in and saying what they believe or whatever. Make sure y'all smash the like button. So we're gonna move on. So this is where the WBO gets into the campaign of helping fighters avoid other fighters and duck fighters. See, it's like the sanctioning bodies doing too much. I started off by saying we need sanctioning bodies to stay in their lane. We need promoters to stay in their lane. If this your job to do this, that, and the other, stay doing your job. Stop overlapping into other parts of the business because you're confusing the fans and you're fucking up the flow. Puff, puff, give. Come on now. Everybody know that. So why am I saying the WBO is getting in the business too, to getting their little feet wet too? Well, they order Andrade to make a fight. Now he got 19 days to make this fight with Janibek. And Andrade, it hasn't even been a whole month since he had a fight. It hasn't even been a whole month since he had a fight. Like, when have y'all ever seen that? I have never seen that. You just had a fight. It's not even a whole fucking month later and you're ordering another fight. What is the rush? Did we miss something? Was somebody begging? What happened? That's the fastest shit I have ever seen in my life. Unless this was on a rising. This was on the rise before Andre's last fight, which, like I said, wasn't even a whole month ago. It was weeks ago, right? And that's before that fight took place. This order was in place. If it was, I stand corrected. I just didn't understand. You got 20 days to make the fight. What? Nigga, I just fought. What you gonna say? Well, I ain't take no punishment. Nigga, I ain't supposed to take no punishment. I made a statement. But I still just fought. How the fuck you gonna come at me like that? 20 days? 20 days, nigga. You got 20 days. Or you got to go through a purse bid. And if you still not complying, you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna take your belt. Demetrius Bright. Many casuals are predicting that Cruz will upset Tank. Your thoughts? Now, I've been hollering about, Demetrius, you've been on the same shows I've been on. I've been hollering about Cruz since August. And nobody knew who he was. And I kept saying, yo, this dude is something special. Like, this dude can fight. But that was in my desperation to have a fight for Devin that people can respect. Because every time Devin fights somebody, here people go with it. Oh, he won't nothing. Oh, that was easy. He ain't knocking him out. He ain't finished. I got tired of that. I was getting like anxious. I was probably getting a little emotional. It was like, man, Devin, Who cares about the top four? Go for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pick somebody down there. And voila, you would have had Isaac Cruz. Here you got a puncher fighter and you got a pure boxer. Who will win? Fucking Isaac Cruz got pop. Y'all think Devin got pop? He got pop too. And he's relentless. He don't give a damn what you hit him with. Has he taken a tough shot? I can't tell. Do I know that people brought that shit back from Mississippi when they tried to hit him? Yes. But he didn't flinch. It didn't phase him. One time I saw him like, whoa, And if anybody gonna make him do the whoa, it's gonna be Tank Davis. But I will say this, Demetrius. I got Tank winning. But Tank cannot fight him like he fought Barrios and like he fought Leo. That's the only thing I say. If you fight him like that and you be strategic, because Tank was taking some to give some, right? That ain't the person you want to do that with. Not at all. Because what we don't know is, can Tank take a hard punch? That was the beauty of him and Rolly. 12 rounds. Can Rolly take a punch? Can Tank take a punch? When you talking like that, that's something we say we just got to see. I know the way both of them can fight. I think if Tank go back a little bit to how he was in the beginning, like he let them hands go and he, show his boxing fast and just stay on his ass. Yeah, but if Tank get tired and want to take a breather or want to place his shot strategically and be waiting, that favors Cruz. It depends on how they show up in that ring that night. But I got Tank winning because he's the more superior, more experienced, more knowledgeable boxer. That's why I got him winning. D-Ray said, I'm glad Pitt getting a nice check. Most definitely. I'm glad for him too. Like I said, he a nice guy. I don't know much about him outside of boxing. Seemed like a nice guy. But if he pitches tent with Mr. Cantone and them over there and the Lotto and them, I don't know how I'm going to feel about him, because I think he should know better. But he seemed like a more serious, down-to-earth type person. And that could be because he broke. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got a lot of money. And he got a wife and he got a son. And I'm sure he hungry. That nigga is hungry. Okay? Who gonna be hungrier when they get in that ring? So back to the WBO ordering Mr. Andre to take a fight. He got 19 days now. Andre just fought. Not even a whole month has passed since his fight. Since when do they do or go that fast and order in a fight? Talking about the WBO. Since when? Name somebody. Since when? That's what I'm saying. And what purpose does this serve? Andre been telling everybody but Santa Claus he want the Canelo fight. Canelo don't want to fight him. A lot of people don't want to fight him. And when Andre is preoccupied with a tomato can, guess what? Canelo ain't got to worry about him. That's the purpose that served. So is the WBL throwing their or injecting their self into the business of boxing just to throw monkey wrenches or help another fighter avoid and cherry pick as he wish? Because they hurting Andre at the expense of Canelo. A lot of people don't want to fight Andre. They be avoiding and ducking him. They people that are suggesting that he should just drop the belt, period, and move up to 168. Maybe he want to, maybe he don't. But if he's preoccupied, Canelo ain't got to worry about y'all throwing that name up in his face. And then he could go on doing his BS tour, his Fugazi ass tour of jumping from weight class to weight class, fighting people he know he can beat. He ain't fooling nobody. But that, like I say, I don't like how they doing Boo Boo because they potentially about to do Devin the same way. But Boo Boo is a millionaire. Devin is a millionaire. So that makes the blow a little bit more softer. At least they made some money. But still, you want to allow this man to be great because you're scared. You're ducking. So that was one person. Then we got to talk about Benavidez and Morrell Jr. They probably more likely to face each other than to face Canelo. As again, Canelo is chiducking. He doesn't want to fight either one of those guys because he don't believe in himself. He don't believe in himself. He's a bitch, a whole bitch. Because and I say that not because he ducking. You know what I'm saying? If you scared, you scared. But if the shit that Canelo do, the disregard for human life part of it, for me, makes him a bitch. I don't like him. Everything good he could do is negated by the fact that he has no disregard or he has no regard for human life. I can't respect that. This boxing is dangerous as it is. You have no regard for human life? Really? You can never be a hero. You can never be put on a pedestal, not by me. Now is he a decent guy outside of, if y'all heard that scream, it's my daughter streaming. She be playing them games. If y'all hear how he is outside the ring, he's a good father, or whatever the case, whatever he is, none of that even matter. You can buy a whole children's hospital and put it in the ghetto. I don't give a damn. And one of my dogs just walked in. Yep, it's Chloe. But yeah, he could throw any nugget he wants to. He been donated $1 million to children's cancer research or finding the cure and all that. That's cool. That's fine. I guess you better give back tax purposes. You still have no regard. It's like somebody murdering somebody and then you go and do some community service and think everything all is well now. There's no statute of limitation on murder. And it shouldn't be one on attempted murder. That's what, and every time I think of Canelo, that's how I see him. I heard somebody say this. Shout out to the person that said that they looking and they watching this right now. But they said something which I was like, man, I agree. And this is a side note, this ain't got shit to do with boxing, but y'all might get a kick out of it, y'all might not. Older men dating young ass women is pedophilish, if that's a word. And it kind of seemed like that. And I was like, wow, I never heard it put that way, but yeah, I have to agree. So like there's certain things that do not pass go with me. That shit, disregard for human life, none of that passes go for me. There's nothing you can do to redeem yourself but to stand in front of that person and apologize. But if you kill them, you can't do that. But if you ruin them mentally and make them like a actual tomato can or a paraplegic or something, mentally challenged person going forward, and you can't say I'm sorry when you did this shit on purpose. That's how I see it. Let me see. D-Ray say, I'm glad Pitt getting a nice paycheck. You asked me who should be next for Boots. Virgil should be next. That's who they should fight. I don't want nothing in the way of Spence and Crawford. And until they get close to signing that contract, I'm not going to dive deep in those type conversations. I will talk about it. I don't want y'all to think that I'm saying we can't talk about it, but I'm not going to get worked up and all that because y'all know who my guy is. And if I could put a transparency behind me of Terrence Bud Crawford all day, it'll be in y'all face with it. But those are two great fighters. And I'm anxious for them to fight. So I'm going to not egg nothing on, instigate, throw my 2 cents in because we all know how precarious these situations can be. We want it real bad. Again, yesterday when I had a little glossy eye for Devin yesterday because I was like, oh my God, this could be it. This could be it. Because I can empathize with what the young man going through. He worked so hard. He's right there at the precipice. And here come people throwing monkey wrenches in it, which we suspected anyway what happened. It was just too good to be true. Sound too much like right. And that made me a little emotional. Maybe I shouldn't. And I apologize at the end of the show. When I just say I apologize, I know y'all be like, oh, T, it don't matter and all that. But Sometimes real life shit, like this is real life shit. You can equate what Devin Haney going through to some real life shit where people working so hard, you're right there, and here comes some outside force throwing a monkey wrench in your shit. Come on now. Demetrius said Virgil Ortiz needs at least 3 years to prepare for Boots, according to his ex-trainer. Then he don't ever need to get in there with Spence or Crawford, but he been asking for it. Like he's a mandatory for, I think, Crawford, and he want to go ahead and do. I don't think he activated his mandatory, but he want it with Lean, but you don't want it with Boots. Nigga, Crawford worse. Demetrius Bright said, you know what I'm saying? Crawford worse. Now I know people will say, I think Boots will beat Crawford. Maybe. I think Crawford more complete than Boots. Boots can learn a few things. But what I say, Boots, don't fight Crawford for 3-4 years. No, I'm never caking for Crawford in that way. Everybody who's available to fight, the top tier fight, the best fighting the best, Crawford, you need to handle that. That's how I feel about that. He said he's Spence mandatory. Is he as well? I thought it was Crawford's as well. But Spence got the IBF and the WBC. Crawford got the WBO. Maybe he the mandatory on a couple of lists. You know what I'm saying? Everybody smash the like button if you're in here. Don't forget to do that. So, the idea or the go-to is to keep Benavidez, Morrell Jr. I don't know why they throwing his name in there with Canelo, but definitely Andrade and Benavidez, keep them busy and preoccupied so we don't have to throw it up in Canelo bitch ass face, Now, I'm going to move on. I'm moving on. Teofimo Sr. is sending a 4-page letter, and he's sealing it with a kiss to none other than Eddie Hearn. What's that song by Meg Decide when they cry baby? I want to play that song, but I ain't playing songs no more. That D right. They don't like when I play a song, shit. But Teofimo Sr. sent some kind of correspondence to Eddie Hearn complaining, basically like, why y'all do us like that? Like, my son won, this, that, and the other. I told you I went back and watched the fight. This time I did turn off the commentary because I did feel, when the first time I watched it, that they was caking for George, and I wasn't seeing, like, their commentary in the beginning rounds. Like, maybe the first 2 or 3 rounds wasn't matching what I was seeing. And I was, sometimes I don't trip on that. I was like, it'll come out in the wash, whatever. I told y'all I also feel about that fight. It wouldn't have mattered what decision. Win, lose, or draw, either way, I wouldn't have been mad at it. But it was T.O.'s to lose, and he didn't do enough. I'm not mad at it. But, of course, Teofimo Sr. is mad, and he's complaining to Eddie, and Eddie like, look, nigga, I'm putting my stank on it, y'all. Look. You know what it is? Your bitch chose me. Not quite like that. But I just had to work it in. I had to use it in the sentence. He basically was saying, look, you lost. Take it like a man. And stop complaining. I ain't do nothing to you. Your son did all that. You need to talk to him. But we have all speculated that T.O. need to get rid of his father. All jokes aside, that's your daddy. He'll always be your daddy, and y'all will always have the bond that y'all have. I know your father loves you, and I know you love your father. But sometimes parents can be too toxic, especially when you're trying to do something. And when they show that they can only go but so far with you, then that's when you have to sever ties just in that capacity and move on to somebody who can take you to another level, and somebody where you don't have to mix emotions. Because Kenny Porter, as we seen him do with Sean, he get mad at Sean. He king dingling, but you living and breathing and riding off of whose work? Sean's work. Shouldn't Sean be king dingling? I'm gonna say the same thing for T.O. and his daddy. You living and breathing and bragging and going to shit and being exposed to shit. Why? Because of your son. Y'all need to take a note out of Bill Haney's page or book on how to transition and let your son become the man that they need to be, and hope and pray that you gave them everything that you could give them. You can't be afraid to let your son fall on his face, because that's how they learn. Everything that all of us have learned over the years, and we don't do no more, and we be like we better at it and all that. Guess what? We fell on our face. And I know in my generation, my parents didn't run to pick me up. I had to learn. It was a lot of times I was making decisions like, damn, I'm going to sink or swim. Which one is it? I don't know. It made me think about what I'm about to do, respect the process even more. It made me mature. But these daddies and their sons in the boxing world, y'all got to get a grip. Maybe y'all need to go to like some kind of school to help y'all transition. Get out the fucking way. In other words, Demetrius Bright said Mickey Bay, Devin, and his team clowning Gary Russell Jr. Why they clowning him? Gary did good Saturday night as far as his instruction. What I missed, Demetrius? I know you got to tell me. Gary Russell Jr. wants JoJo to knock Haney out. Oh. You know that they probably got some kind of animosity towards each other. That's how y'all know how I'm gonna look at it, like, oh, that's some two guys. But Gary has said JoJo fought him, and then fighting Gary, because Jerry is a complete fighter. We can't say he not. Between Gary and Devin Haney, I would say as far as skill wise and complete fighter, I give that to Gary. Only because Gary's older and Gary been doing it longer. He's just more experienced. Mostly that's why I give it to Gary. But Gary is basically saying the experience of being in there with him. Now y'all know JoJo was a monster before he got beat by Gary. JoJo was the shit in his day coming up, whatever. Y'all know JoJo was the shit. He was something. Let me just say that. And of course, Gary Russell threw cold water on it, as he always do. Now Gary just claiming that he hope he beat him, and that's probably out of some animosity stuff. But I haven't seen what he said lately. But the first time he said something, I think he said something to the effect that he got the experience of in there with me. It's a lot of stuff he had to adjust to and learn on the fly by just being in there with me. I put my stake on and paraphrasing a little bit. And so when he get in there with Devin, I think he carries those experiences with him. Now, we either believe that or we don't believe that. Yeah, when you, like Canelo got in there with Floyd. Canelo, typical Mexican fighter, they want you to stand there and just, tick for tat. That's how they want you to fight. That's fighting in them. Floyd showed Canelo is more to boxing than what you thought. And since then, hasn't Canelo imitated a lot of shit that Floyd showed him and have been successful at it? So we do know that fighters gain experience especially when they in there with somebody more experienced than they are, and take a little bit of something with them. And that's what I heard Gary saying. But if Gary said more, like in a menacing kind of way, I'm gonna leave that right there, because I like them both. I'm gonna leave it right there. I can't favor one over the other. But getting back to Teofimo Senior writing Eddie this 4-page letter. Yeah, it was a 4-page. I know I'm just a pun on words. And Eddie's like, y'all lost. It wasn't a bad, there's no disgrace in that. Take it like a man, take it on the chin. Was Eddie right in his advice to T.O. Senior? I mean, I don't know. Like T.O. Senior and Teofimo Jr. believe that they won that fight 10 rounds to 2. I don't know about that. I don't know. I told y'all, like, the way the commentators were talking, the fact that Cambosos was popping them all, here and there, seeming like he was boxing, seeming like he was relaxed, seeming like he was having a good time, and he won the crowd over because that was a T.O. crowd, and then it became like a Cambosos crowd, and so he caught favor that night. Um, he did do what he was supposed to do, but I stopped counting the rounds. I didn't even try to count no rounds because I was like, what the fuck is T.O. doing? He not even fighting right. Again, not making no excuse for T.O. T.O., you lost. What Eddie said to T.O. Senior, I will agree. Just on the face of what was said. I don't know how deeper the conversation went, but if he said, "Yo, man, you saying what did I do? I'm not the judge or the ref. I put the fight on. That's what the fuck I did. I booked the fucking Madison Square Garden and it's theater room. That's what the fuck I did. What you talking about? What did I do? What are you implying that I the fix was in and I had something to do with that? I ain't got nothing to do with that. Why your son didn't train and do what he was supposed to do? Those are questions you need to ask, not be asking me. Y'all lost. It's all good. People lost. People lose. It's boxing. You win some, you lose some. He's gonna be okay. Whatever injuries he sustained, they fixable. He live to fight another day. I mean, so to me, if that's what Eddie Hearn was saying to Teofimo Sr., I'm totally on board with that. I'm cool with that. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I'm cool with that. How y'all feel about that? That's why I say he implying is it possible that the fix was in? As much as a fix could be in. And see, in that fight, if a fix was in, it means we gonna cake for Camboso. We gonna be bigging up every fucking thing he throw, even if he miss. We gonna do that. But we're not gonna tell Camboso that the fix is in. We're not gonna tell Tio that the fix. It's kind of one of the things like you want Cambosos to win, but you need him to play his part. If you go back and remember the Mikhail Fox and Gabriel Maestri fight, I want to say it was August 14th. Remember how disgusted we was because that was just straight highway robbery, broad daylight. Talk about a heist. That was a heist because Mikhail Fox beat his ass all 12 rounds. It was a wipeout. But that lady had the nerve to have that card so wide, and then all three of them had in favor of the loser, who was clearly the loser. But what it showed you is Mikhail Fox was going to lose anyway. Gabriel Maestri didn't do what he was supposed to do to make it more believable that he wins, because they was going to give him the win anyway. So when T.O. Senior is saying if he's feeling like the fix is in, that doesn't work if Camboso doesn't do his part. But then you have to ask your son is the fix is in, because he didn't do his part either. So T.O. Senior is emotional and he needs to go somewhere and have several seats. And again, as I remind y'all, now everybody wants Camboso. He is the hot ticket item of the 135 division. He woke the motherfuckers up, and they won't in. They won't in. So hold tight. I'm still on. I'm sorry, y'all. I took this call. I'll call you right back. All right. Sorry, y'all. I'm almost done. This problem right here never goes away. Bob Arum, old ass, is still putting down Terrence Crawford. I know most of us don't care. Terrence has left and he's not with Bob. He actually did what the fans wanted him to do. Like I told y'all, I ain't getting the man's business. You know, how he make his money is how he make his money. If he wanted to go do it on the pole, he could have did it on the pole. How he make his money is how he make his money. But Bob, you could tell he's still salty because he's still out there shitting on Bud. He's still claiming he is one. He'll say he's one of the best fighters of all, right now. But he loses money. He loses me money. He's not a pay-per-view star. And all I can say to that statement is we'll see. We'll see going forward because he no longer with Bob. So we'll see. But Terrence made a good point. If you paying a promoter, you got a promoter, then you need to promote. Terrence can arguably say it wasn't his job to promote, but Terrence using common sense. You should promote yourself and take care of your own brand. You know what I'm saying? But Bob wasn't promoting him, so what he was getting paid for? Bob don't ever promote his fights, especially if you black. I don't know why. I can speculate. He scoops up all the black fighters, but he don't ever really promote them right. Shakur Stevens had a fight that should have been jam-packed, but nobody knew it. In Atlanta, of all places, they love to go out. They ready to go out. It probably could have been square dancing at the State Farm Arena, and everybody can volunteer to square dance, some kind of like the Grease movie, and winner takes a $25,000 prize. You think black people wouldn't show up to that shit? I'll be there quicker than shit. Because I don't know about Georgia, but I know in Virginia and Maryland, so I'm assuming the rest of the South, when we went to school, our motherfucking ass had a square dance for 9 weeks in gym class. So I know how to square dance. But that shit would have went on the airwaves. All of the radio stations would have picked it up. Desiree say, I'm back, Miss T. Glad to have you back, Queen. That shit would have went on the airway. It would have been publicized. And it would have been jam-packed. But no, Bob don't do that. So Terrence has score one for Terrence because that's an accurate assessment. Bob really don't promote you, but yet he's your promoter. Another thing Bob does. Now, maybe they tried to build the app for Terrence. Maybe that's, what was the whole purpose with that. But the app turned out to be a dud. It turned out to be a dud. They knew this 3-4 fights ago. The app never, ever took off. And the second time you try to use the app, you should have known then. But, none of Bob fighters took off with the app. And like I said, it's possible. I don't remember. But it could have been created just for Bud. But it's not easy to get. It took me an hour and a half to get mine up and running just so I could see this Bud fight. I won't go missing. I wound up buying 3 fucking things that night. Hulu, I got a subscription to them, which I kind of already do. Then I had Disney Plus, which I kind of already do. And when I say I kind of already do, somebody else in my household has those subscriptions. But see, I didn't have them. But I didn't need them. Just like I got certain subscriptions and they don't need them. But I bought Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. Just so I can see the Terrence Crawford fight. Then when I got that, I went on my smart TV and the app wasn't already up there. I don't know how to download the app on the TV itself. My TV got the internet going through it. It automatically uploads apps, even if I don't ask, and it just uploads them. So I didn't even know how to put that app on there, and it wouldn't let me. So then I had to flip through, find my Fire Stick, connect out. It was a headache. If I didn't love boxing like I do, I would have said, bump this. I'm not fucking with it. Fuck it. I'll just read the newspaper, the news article, or whatever, and get my news that way. Find out about the fight that way. I'll catch a YouTube clip and be happy with it. Whereas when you talk about Errol Spence and Deontay Wilder and other fighters, when they have a fight coming up, you know what I do? I just pick up my remote control, hit select, return it to the channel that shows pay-per-view, hit select, I'm done. It's on every TV in my house. Or I could call my cable company and say, hey, I'm ordering the fight. They'll put it on every channel, every TV in my house. Champion Heart is in the building. What's up, King? Salute to Box Fan Talk TV, my beautiful sister, Miss T, and chat. Salute to you. But with Terrence, it's not that easy. So a lot of people in trying to get to this app said, fuck it. Now, can I prove that? No, I can't. Can I speculate that and say probably so? I can see that happening because of my own experience. But my love for boxing didn't allow me to say fuck it. But somebody who's a casual, who's interested, or a novice who's interested probably say, fuck it. Fuck that. I'm not getting no goddamn ESPN Plus. I don't even watch football and darts and whatever the hell else they show on ESPN Plus. I don't watch them shits. I'm gonna be happy. Like, they need to put it on regular pay-per-view like everybody else. Who knows? But it hasn't happened. So I'm with people who say, but Miss T, 190, that's the best. Fine. I'm cool. I ain't gonna argue these points. But what I will say, now that he's a free agent, we'll see. We'll see how it goes going forward. That's all we can say is we'll see. But I'm trying not to let myself get caught up in their money because they're not giving me a cut. So I don't care what they do with their money, you know. I'm more worried about what they're doing in the ring and this, that, and the other. But Bob, you need to let go, Terrence. You didn't do right by him. You ain't gonna do right by Keyshawn Davis, or what his name, Keyshawn Jones, or I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, the new Olympian that Bob and them scooped up, and his brother Calvin. You ain't gonna do right by them either. Let them start getting fancy or get some shine on them. You're not gonna do right by them. You got them because you know who you want to promote and who you want to big up, but you don't want your favorite fighter to have to, you know, face a challenge from those guys. So that's why you scoop up all these young black athletes. That's my opinion. But, you know, Bob is 90 years old. He's too long in the tooth. He ain't gonna change. So, you know, that's all I can say is, you know, it's almost like you gotta give Bob a pass because he's an old man. I mean, he ain't gonna change. So, anywho, that's all I had. WBC throwing a monkey wrench. I know why I was emotional yesterday because look at the shit that's going on now. You trying to fuck up Devin Haney's career. And, you know, I just never seen so many people in unison trying to, you know, halt one person or stop somebody in their tracks. That shit just don't make sense. Anywho, when you know better, you do better. We can't trust the WBC. Y'all need to trust y'all phone calls to the government, though. I'm telling y'all, he's not running his nonprofit because that's what these sanctioning bodies are. They're nonprofit organizations, and they're not running it like a nonprofit. And that is a big no-no. The government can and will shut you down. But if they ain't looking for it and they don't know nothing about it, and enough of us are not complaining, and it's easy. Google Louisiana's federal congressman, Louisiana's state senator. I just picked the state. New York's federal congressman. Y'all got AOC. New York, y'all got AOC. Call her. You don't think that honey would get on that? She would get on that so quick. It'll make your head spin. She'd be like, wait a minute, sir. What you not gonna do? Y'all might not like AOC for other stuff, But she will do that. Right is right, wrong is wrong. He breaking the law. But the Congress people are not focused on sporting activity. They happy that it's going on despite the COVID. They not gonna be, trying to focus on how can we interject ourselves into sports. They don't do that. You have to make them aware of that. If Mauricio want to play these games, why don't we do as Americans have the right to do? That's what I was in the military for you to do. Call your congressman. Tell them what you see. And then let them open the can of whoop ass on him so he could be in the backseat talking about humming. Then that way he can stay out of everybody else's business. Stop trying to push shit to his favor. But when you know better, you do better. But it's been fun, y'all. That's all I had today. Tomorrow is Thursday. So I will be back tomorrow, and then we're going to have Grown Woman Talk as usual. This time, y'all, we ain't getting deleted. Al Heyman, stay out of our Grown Woman Talk. Stop shutting us down, Al. I hope Al know I be joking. I get that from when, what was it, Romney running for president. Remember the dude, the black Keenan? I think his name Keenan on Saturday Night Live. He kept talking about Romney's hedge fund companies. Like, I was shining shoes. But then Bain came in. That was Romney company, and they shut us down. He blamed everything on Bain. But anywho, that's where it kind of, and Fred's show. That's where we pick up that little joke from. But anywho, when you know better, you do better. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.